Let's get back to drawing. I actually did a video yesterday, but then I took it offline because the lighting was so weird. So today I finished this panel. So I've got this page of Tarzan finished. It's going to be colored by Jake. I think it works pretty well. And then I'm almost done with not this page. I haven't even started. Oh, what you missed yesterday was I actually drew that page. And you know, when you're drawing a rough, this is a very rough page. This is not going to impress anybody. You're working out figure sizes and things like that, so they're not even complete, really. And this is going to be kind of a funny scene right before this postman character comes in and delivers a package, and they're arguing over who gets to hand the package off to Alcabetz, who is the main wizard. If you saw the sketchbook tour I did yesterday, I did do a picture of Alcabetz in the sketchbook. Whoops! No! Don't delete. Okay, here we go. Dang. So here we are, struggling mightily. What if I do that? No, does that hurt it? Yeah, that sucks if I do that. So I gotta suffer in the dark here if I want to make this work. All right, it's time for Mr. Smooth Natural Nib. Actually, the Smooth Natural isn't even my favorite. I like the fountain pen, fountain inker, I believe it's called. Recent. It's called fountain inker. This one right here. There's two of them. One's a legacy fountain inker, which I guess they must have had in an earlier version of the collection. And then it wasn't that one. I don't like at all. like that was not one I ever would have used. What he's gonna do his teeth. What's fun a lot is if you can manage to get the teeth inside. This is we want to get that Al Cap. Got to get that Al Cap drip in there, man. All right. The more I study comics, the more I'm convinced that the comic book kids may not have been the be all end all, because it's degenerated now. Like, somebody posted some art. Like, I was in this one place and somebody said, here's some art for my comic and stuff, and it was the most generic. I mean, it was super competent. It was like, looks like definitely they paid. By the way, they didn't do it themselves. They paid somebody to do it, and obviously they paid a lot. And it has that look, that look of it that everything's got now. You can just tell the thing was done in Clip Studio Pro. All the figures are posed in a perfect tableau, staring meaningfully off into the distance. A lot of the male characters wear sunglasses in comics like that. They wear sunglasses because they're cool. Sunglasses shows they're cool. And they have scars, and they have bulging veins. And what they do is they just kind of stare meaningly off into the middle distance, thinking about stuff, I guess. Maybe they don't think about stuff. Like, what's their thoughts? I don't know. When I see art like that, and I go, well, this is so depressing. I mean, I like superhero comics. I like, Captain Marvel Jr. I like the Shazam Captain Marvel. That's the only one I like. I don't even like the Kree Captain Marvel. The one that Starlin worked on. that much anymore. I like ElfQuest. I love ElfQuest. I like the Man Thing in the 70s. I like Rampaging Hulk. Did you ever read Rampaging Hulk? Rampaging Hulk was a magazine-sized black and white Hulk comic. It only came out in the 70s. And eventually they made it into like a regular Hulk comic, I guess. I don't know. But it had kind of like the more mature themes of the Hulk. Like, as if that's possible. Hulk had a girlfriend named Jarella. Hulk ended up with a space hottie named Barit, who was like a bird woman. My gut is telling me I need to say when the dog crashes into him, he says chomp because he's chomping on the stick. That's real comics to me, man. Come on now. You know that's good comics. All right, here we go. For the first time, we see Balin's full outfit. And I drew this today on my sketchbook at work. I have a work sketchbook. And then I have a sketchbook that's at home. But I recently finished the um, X equals the unknown. That's funny. You finish the sketchbook, you forget all about it. I forgot the name of it. I try to name all my sketchbooks so I can keep them separate. Okay. All right. He's yelling, "You idiots! You idiots might have to move." And the reason I feel like that is because there's a key thing happening. The potion is falling on his head. The potion is falling on your head. You idiots should be prominent up here, maybe. Maybe up here. You idiots. We want to understand that Balin has a bad temper. He's kind of um a bit of an intense guy sometimes. I don't know. Maybe intense is the wrong word. He's got a type A personality. It's a good idea to give your characters different personalities in the world of comics. All right, so what's going on here? We got his belt. He's got a belt. And here's Zephyr. Zephyr is a cute little gargoyle puppy. In this world, gargoyles can be like puppies. And I was doing some kind of story brainstorming. I don't write the whole story out at once. I kind of know the beginning, the ending, and I know where it's going. This is going to be a multi-part story, so this is going to be in the very first Silver Ball. I think is what I'm going to call it. Silver Ball. And the idea here is that there used to be this adventuring group called the Retrievers. And the Retrievers were a successful adventuring group, but they've moved on, and some of them weren't so good, I guess. That's the thing about the adventurers. I don't know. Maybe I'm making a statement about superheroes in general. They're not superheroes. They're a fantasy adventuring group, like a D&D group. And over time, they may have started out as good guys. They all kind of went their separate ways. So there's a kind of a knight character called Quixote, which is pretty obvious, right? But he's too old to be a knight, but he's going to be a knight still. But he's like a cavalier, a chevalier. You know, he wears armor. He's got a one of those clamshell type helmets, like a conquistador helmet. And he's the uncle of this character, Balin. So he's a rat character. And one of the characters is Felora, who is a thief. And Felora never truly retired. She's kind of a badass chick, right? She's an experienced adventurer who never stopped going. It didn't matter if she got old or not. All right. Let's see what we got. Are we getting close? Are we getting close? Let's take a look. We're going to take a look at with the pencil layer. Oh, we're getting close. We're getting close. One of my problems right here, other than this atrocious line weight that I just did, I can fix that. I can fix it. One of my problems here is our gargoyle dog has little bat wings, and I don't know where to put him. I can put him back here, I guess. Balin's looking good. I was really worried about this. I drew him several times. Like, this panel got redrawn several times. This panel got redrawn several times. And the reason is because I wasn't quite sure how to get the stuff on model when I started out. Like, I wasn't real settled on the models yet. He's angry and surprised. Okay. All right. We're getting somewhere. Now, Balin is unlike his uncle, the Chevalier, he's the actual apprentice spellcaster to Alcabetz, who was another member of the Retrievers. Alcabetz was not an especially great adventurer. When you see him, you'll see he's a stork, so he was a bit delicate. And he was very studious. So he's an intellectual. He's an academic, I guess we could call him. An academic. And a mysterious thing happens, and I'm unsure whether to reveal it as a spoiler. I'm actually not even sure. I can't even spoil it because I don't even know which way I'm going to go with it yet. He is the one who receives the page torn from the Book of Ruin. And we'll see in future pages what happens. And it sets off the quest, the adventure, if you will. Okay, we're going to have to do a stupid lettering trick, so let's do it. You get on your own. I like to get on my own layer here. I'm going to go ahead and use syrup. I better be on my own layer. I am. Too big. Right? And too weird over here. Okay. Here's our sound effect. We're going to take this sucker, make it smaller. We could distort it a little bit. We could even warp it. Let's pinch it a little bit and move it around. I think we're making it too big again, so let's crash. We want to avoid tangents. Okay, looks pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is its solid color. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and reduce it in opacity. Let me get on my pencil there and erase what I had back there. So I'm liking this lettering. But what I need to do is I need to trace my fountain anchor. There we go. I need to trace my lettering, and then we'll get rid of the when you switch to a big, thick outline like that, it's hard to go wrong. Because that's the tough part of doing like this sort of hand lettering stuff, is keeping your marks symmetrical. Well, not symmetrical. Proportional. Because you have nothing to go on unless you can really visualize, which I can to a degree. By the way, I practice creative visualization every night. I don't know if that's the right word for it. It's called image streaming. You should look this up. Anybody can do this. It is a skill you can learn, and I highly recommend it. I don't like this tangent. Let's do it right here. There we go. So image streaming. We're going to, if we did this correctly, fuck. I don't know if we did it correctly or not. Did we? Oh, because this is, all right, here we go. Let's go ahead and delete that. Like this line right here is going to cause us a problem, and this line is sure to cause us a problem as well. So image streaming, like, you know when you close your eyes, and when you close your eyes, you would think you would see just try it right now. Close your eyes. And are you seeing absolute darkness, or do you really see kind of like little sparks of light, little sparkles? If you concentrate and look closely, there's little sparkles. And eventually, if you learn to relax, those sparkles will begin to ideate. They'll begin to turn into things as your mind starts to wander. And you'll be able to start visualizing things. Like, for example, let's just try it as an example. Without even closing your eyes, do you know what an apple looks like? Of course, you know what an apple looks like. What color is it? Red. Now, without looking at the color red, can you imagine the color red? If you can hold the color red in your memory, or the smell of an apple, or the look of an apple, that's image streaming. And if you do this every night, if you practice this every night, you'll find you'll be able to do it awake. You'll be able to do it, when you're drawing, and when you're doing anything else. Like, for example, there's if you look into the history of this technique, it's one of the guys who's one of the main researchers of this technique was using it to help like this high school kid visualize the ball to play baseball better, like visualize the ball to hit it more accurately, and had like this amazing improvement. But it's the same thing with drawing. If you can visualize something, you can do it. And don't take my word for it. The person I got this from is Dan Fraga, who talks about it every once in a while. And I'm like, what is this? Okay, let's check this out. And so I did my own research, and it's really interesting. You can just look it up. Just Google it. Image streaming. Some people think when they close their eyes, they can't see anything and they can't visualize anything. But I mean, the apple is the perfect example. And by the way, that's part of it. You have to not just do the visual. You have to also imagine the touch and the volume and the scent. Like the more of those things that you can imagine, because what you're actually doing is you're building the sort of neurons in your brain, the cross connections, which you can build throughout your life, no matter how old you are. Um, and you have to do it. You have to practice. You have to do it over and over again to get it right. And you know, I'm not like a master comic artist or anything like that. I'm not at all. But I knew that if I wanted to get good at drawing, I would have to get better at visualizing. And so that's one of my strategies. It's certainly true that all of the really great comic artists, all the ones that you really, you know, that you really end up going, wow, how is he doing it? They're all great visual. Kim Jong-gi was a visualizer, same deal. And yeah, it does all play into that um, drawing from imagination versus drawing from reference. But one thing I would strongly suggest is check out what Stan Proko says about drawing from imagination versus drawing from reference. He is a guy that draws from reference and almost exclusively. And when it came time for him to start doing drawing from imagination, he had a really hard time doing it because he didn't know how to switch his mind yet. So all those people that are saying, "Oh yes, every time you must draw from reference. Every time you must draw from reference," I disagree. I think that, and this is also, uh, there are other artists who believe this as well. Um, you must expand your visual library by drawing from reference, but you must memorize, like you must memorize those folds. You should understand construction and things like that. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that, oh, the only way to draw is just to copy what other people do. Where do you think those drawings came from? Or the only way you can draw is to copy photographs. Absolute foolishness. Of course that's not true. And everybody knows that too. I mean, it's like, like there are people who told me, "Oh yes, you always have to have you must always have reference." And he's like drawing robots. I'm like, "Of course you're not drawing you're not drawing that robot from reference." And he's like, "Yeah, but I mean, this is the advice I'm supposed to give the young artists of today, I guess." Man, I don't know what the young artists of today even want. What do they want? I just learned today a little bit about clothing folds, and I'm trying to apply it. Um, a good chance I'm going to get it wrong. Of course, it's okay to get it wrong over and over again. I don't know if I should. I'm worried about, like, he's wagging his tail, of course. The gargoyle dog is made out of stone. He's not fuzzy or fluffy. Made out of stone, baby. You gotta imagine when a gargoyle dog comes barreling into you, that's probably woof, smash, right? Boom, boom, shake the room. Okay, I got 24 minutes. Now I am gonna do something, but I'll cut it off before you see the full effect. Whoa, hey now. What I need to do is add another layer And this layer will be our tones. We're going to do screen tones. This whole comic is going to have black and white screen tones. That's kind of the shtick for this comic. So one of those screen tones is Beat Tones Classic Clean Dot. There it is. All right. Now, the dark face of the house. I better be on that right. Okay. Be that side, which means this face of the house, this face of the house, this face of the house. Okay. And then this is all underneath this is the blacksmith shop. The tree. The foreground. We don't have to go wild with it. Now, the problem right now, then you have to kind of peel off the excess to make sure that it's not overflowing the areas. If these are real screen tones, this is actually what I struggled with. I tried to use real screen tones, and I really suck at it. It's really tough to use. I'm going to leave that on this because there could be some shadow in between these two buildings. I need to get a nicer pair of like little tweezers or something. I saw, once again, I spent a lot of time watching some of the other artists like Greteletsky. She uses like a little tiny pair of hobby pliers as her tweezers. So once you've cut the stuff on there, and I've got the duotone paper like right here, when I'm doing traditional work, and I tried it. I did a couple of pieces in my sketchbook. Then you got to kind of like slice the stuff off and like take it away. You peel it off. All right, here we go. There we go. Same here. Same here. Nice. How about this tree? It gives it kind of a bit of a glitchy, messy look to it sometimes, which I actually like. It almost feels a little bit more zany. Chicken tetrazzini. All right. How's that look? That looks properly toned. Okay. I'll do a little bit of this and then we're going to call it quits. All right, we're going to do a little bit of this plane. We want the dog and the character to stand out. So the reason I do this, you're probably wondering why I colored over the dog or the gargoyle dog. So you don't want to lift your stylus off of the pad until you've covered the area, because if you lift it and then you place it again, the dots will end up slightly out of alignment. And that could cause something called a moire effect. Moire? Miore? I don't know what it's pronounced like. Moire effect. And you don't want that. You don't want that, G. But There we go. By surrounding these characters with the darker areas, we make them pop a little bit more, although I haven't got them popping very much. Now, we're going to do something called dot gain. So back in the day when, come on now. Oh, is that part of it? Oh, those are stipples that I put down. You see how the dots are kind of spaced? Each dot is spaced apart. We want to put down some dots that are exactly on the same thing, but larger dots, so that they appears darker. Of course, we don't want anything in the gutters. Okay. All right. Keep it down, Perseus. Um, so we're going to go one up. We're going to go from clean dot 10% to clean dot 30. So the clean dot 30 we're going to use over there on the edges. Over there on the edges, maybe a shadow behind the dog. And we're hoping that we're matching it up close to where the previous dots were. See how it just kind of seamlessly matches up? That is a cool trick that's part of the Beat Tones package. It's what makes them worth it. They weren't expensive. It's like $20 for the package or something like that. Okay, and we can even go further with it. Like we can go to 45, or hotter dots. We can get them hotter and hotter and hotter, bigger and bigger. Okay, so if we know that the sun is hitting this face, we could put some dots. Let's go back to the 10% behind the character, maybe underneath. And we'll even go with a 30%. We'll even go all the way to 60%. Anyways, please like, follow, and subscribe. There will be more of this. You can just see that this is about life size for the comic page that it will be on. We want to maintain, of course, contrast, and we want to make sure that the figures pop and show expression and everything until we get to the end. Anyways, please like, follow, and subscribe. Book of Ruin will be continuing. I'm not sure how many pages it is. I don't think it's quite going to be 16. I think it might be closer to 8 or 12, maybe in the middle somewhere. Silver Ball is going to be 32 pages at max. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got the 5th page going on here. Let me just figure out where I've got 6 pages. Introduces alphabets. 7th page, as we see a little bit of their relationship. This is 6th, 7th, 8th is alphabets opens up the package. The Vortex 9, maybe 10, 11. 10, 11. All right. Please like, follow, subscribe, and I will see you later.